What's up, everyone? And today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Qliphort deck. Now, if you don't know Qliphort, it's a deck that was once pretty good. Towers at one point was banned because it was so broken, because it was literally unaffected by everything. Although now with Link Monsters, it's not quite as powerful, but the deck can still be pretty good. So without further ado, let's get right into the deck profile. I start by running 2 towers. This is a boss monster. I'd say it's definitely one of the strongest boss monsters to ever be released. Mainly because it's unaffected by traps, unaffected by spells, and unaffected by monsters with a lower level and or rank than it. So it'd either have to be a Link monster, essentially, or a Synchro and XYZ that is level 11 or higher. You can definitely see how this was very powerful back in the day, because it was essentially just a beat stick that you could not get rid of. That was pretty much immune to everything. Of course, now with Link monsters work on towers because Link monsters do not have a level or a rank. So a Link monster's effects can still work on it, and that's why it's not quite as powerful as it once was, because a unicorn could easily get rid of that. Next, I run 3 Qliphort Scout. Scout pay 100 to search a Qli monster. No, you pay 100 to add 1 Qli card from your deck to your hand. Really good. So that's essentially like your search card for the deck. Also run 3 Qliphort Monolith. Now this you can draw during the end phase. You can draw a card to the number of monsters used for like a tribute summon. So it's like a draw power, but like not that strong of a draw power. That's why I only run 2. Next, I run 3 Qliphort Disc. Disc, when it is summoned via tribute summon, you special summon 2 Qliphort monsters from your deck, but they are destroyed during the end phase. I'd say this is probably the next best card from Scout and Towers, because being able to special summon 2 from the deck is always pretty good, and you can do a lot with that. Next, I run 3 Helix. When that is tribute summoned, you can target a spell trap on the field, destroy it. Next, I run 3 Carrier. It is now you can target a monster and destroy it. I also run the 1 Shell, which can make second attack if it's tributed, and Stealth, which can return a card on the field to the hand. Now, aside from Towers and the 2 normal and the Scout and Monolith, all of them has an additional effect too. They can be normal summoned without tributing, but their level and attack is reduced. But you want to tribute summon them, because when they're tribute summoned, they are unaffected by monsters with a lower level. So this deck has a lot of protection. Granted, in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, that protection is harder to get. And unfortunately, like if you do pendulum summon, you do lose that protection, and as well as their level and all that. So like tribute summoning is the best way to go around it. But the main goal is to get Towers out and try to get Towers to stick. Moving on to the spells. I run 3 Sacrifice. This can equip only to a Qli monster. It gains 300 attack and defense. Cannot be destroyed by battle, and the equipped monster can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a Qli monster. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Qli monster from your deck to your hand. So not only can it search, it can be counted as 2 tributes for a tribute summon. So let's say you have 2 Qliphort monsters and one of them has Sacrifice. That's Towers for you. Next, I run the 2 Laser Clip. Laser Clip is essentially kind of like double summon as a field spell. It gives you an extra summon of a Qli monster. Next, I run 3 Pot of Prosperity. One thing I noticed, you do need a lot of draw power in this deck. Because, like, well, yes, you do want to do a bunch of tribute summoning, but you have to have monsters on the field to tribute. Which means first you have to, like, pendulum summon. Then whenever you pendulum summon, you tribute for the Qli monster. I also run 2 Pot of Desires to help with the draw power. I also run 3 Summoner Arts, which allows you to search the Scout and Monolith, as well as an Upstart Goblin. Moving on to the traps. I run 1 Recreate. Recreate is essentially skill drain, but if you don't have a Qli monster, it is destroyed. The one downside to Recreate right now is we're in a control format, or at least recording as this video. This is before the February 2021 ban list. Granted, like in a combo oriented format, you definitely want to run like 3 of these, but I also run the 1 skill drain. Next, I run 3 Soul Drain. Like, I feel depending on the format or the control or combo, you want to switch between these 2. And since we're in a more of a control-oriented format, and the best decks do use a lot of graveyard as well as banishing effects, this is definitely a good card to use right now. And lastly, I run 3 Solemn Judgments. Moving on to the extra deck, which honestly does not matter. Aside from like maybe the Qliphort Link, you're not going to be using any of the extra decks, so I'll just put in a bunch of generic extra deck monsters. First, I run 3 Qliphort Genius. Now, as for the generic links, I run Unicorn, I run Cerberus, I run Phoenix, IP, Access Code, Appaloosa, Boral Sword. You know, generic link stuff. As for the XCs, I run 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Daguerreus, because if you end up special summoning them, they become like level 4s, so you can use stuff like that. I also run the 1 Cyber Dragon Nova, 1 Cyber Dragon Infinity, in case that ever comes up, and the 1 Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. That card has a name. Now, Towers has it's a level 10 monster, although you're not likely to go into Gustav Max. It's there as an option, but usually you'll want to stick with Towers. But if your opponent has like less than 2,000 life points, you can just go into Gustav Cannon Max and end the game. That's it for the deck profile. Let me know, what do you think? Do you think Qli's a pretty cool deck? Do you like the art? Do you think Towers is still pretty broken? Or did you actually play Towers when it was like that broken of a card and links didn't exist? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.